pick three plays. Are you guys having problems locating some hot hits off of a rundown? Well, look no further. I want you guys to pay close attention to some key digit numbers, especially for the state of Indiana. I want to share with you guys where you may want to look on a rundown, which rundown may be a little bit more effective using this method, and just paying attention to keeping track of what's going on so that when you see these patterns, you can spot them and grab them, okay? So I will let out a disclaimer. I cannot guarantee hits on the channel or in the membership, so please play responsibly, please. But also, if there's other states looking at this content, backtrack to see if this style works for your state, but there could be other key digit numbers that you may want to pay attention, not just these specific ones here that we're stating today, okay? We're going to backtrack. This is what I mean by backtracking. A lot of people, when I say backtracking, they have no idea what I mean. Simply making sure that you keep a daily log of what's going on. Indiana has two draws per day. So with that, I like to see that you guys are keeping your mid and evening, no matter what rundown you're using, okay? And there's plenty of rundowns to use, okay? But for this example, I saw that the 1, 2, 3 was popping a little bit better with this particular pattern. But feel free to switch back and forth and try and use other rundowns. You may like them a little bit better for your state, and that's fine too. So I want to share with you, we're going to go back to March 13th. I want you to see how this thing progresses, okay? And why you need to keep a daily track of what's going on, okay? So pick three Indiana. Let's start with March 13th evening. There was a hit of 915. Now again, we're using a 1, 2, 3 rundown. Okay, feel free to study others to see what works best for your state, okay? Now, how do we put these rundowns together? That's the next question that I often get. Well, once you lock in the last hit you're going to use, which is 915, that hit March 13th evening, we're simply going to add each of these numbers down the columns. So for the first column, we're going to add 1 all the way down. So 1 plus 9 is 10. For our two-digit numbers, only use our ones plus our 0. 0 plus 1 is 1, 1 plus 1 is 2, 2 plus 1 is 3, 3 plus 1 is 4, 4 plus 1 is 5, 5 plus 1 is 6, 6 plus 1 is 7, 7 plus 1 is 8, and 8 plus 1 is 9. Now you know you did it right. The number you start with, which is this 9, should be the number that you end with, 9, okay? Then you would add 2 all the way down the second column, 3 all the way down the third column. So we start with 915, 915. Now here's a key digit I want you guys to pay attention. There are many. I normally like to use 0s and 5s, 2s and 7s, but sometimes states can be very particular. And I notice when the numbers 3 and 8, we're going to talk about those key digits, okay? 3 and its mirror 8, sometimes when they're together, can tell you some hits that are happening on top or on the bottom of those, okay? So those key digits again, 3 and 8, I'm going to go ahead and highlight them. So when you see them together, sometimes they could form on the right side of your grids. They may be mirrors 3, 8 or 8, 3. They may even be numbers, doubles 3, 3 or 8, 8. Okay, it can vary. Okay, I want you guys to know that. So when you see these particular key digits for Indiana, again, other states may have different key digits. Make sure you guys are paying attention to the other videos that are coming out to pay attention to what your state's key digits are, depending on the rundown and depending on the methods that are being used. Okay, all of those variables matter on how you choose to look at key digits. Okay, all right. So the other thing I want you to do is pay attention to mirror numbers. Make sure you understand that 3 and 8, when they're together, they're actually the same number, they're opposite, okay? So let's talk about mirror numbers real quick, okay? So our mirrors go as this. A 0 could be a 5 or 5 could be a 0. A 1 could be a 6, 6 could be a 1. A 2 could be a 7 could be a 2. A 3 could be an 8, 8 could be a 3. And a 4 can be a 9, and a 9 can be a 4. So pay close attention to that, okay? Some people don't know why when the 3 and 8 are together that they're literally the same number. So I want you guys to know that. In case you don't see doubles, you may see mirrors. So let's look at this example, okay? We have 3, 8, which is one of the key digits. 3, 8 on the right side. This is telling me through your patterns that numbers may like to hit on top or on the bottom. Okay, so I would literally write down 915. It may not be in that order when they come out, okay? I would also look at 151, the number on the bottom of the key digits. But then you need to look at your mirrors. This is why I want you to know what mirrors are, because if you don't, you'll miss this step completely. When we say mirror numbers, we're saying it's the same number but opposite. Look how we started out with the number 915. Halfway down, it's going to mirror to a 410. So that 915 became a 410. Now pay attention. Just like that 038 becomes a 533. Now we have the 3 key digits. See how those digits changed? All right, we're going to write the numbers on the top and on the bottom of those. We want to cover ourselves while we're looking at the numbers, because we don't really know where they may hit, okay? So pay attention to that. I'm also going to write down 410 and 656, okay? All right, and then I'm going to hold on to those numbers for a couple days. I'm not telling you to do that. I'm not telling you what you should or should not play, but I do want you to start practicing on paper. I would write them down and just see if they were to come up, you know, maybe some days later, okay? Well, if you're paying attention, you're keeping your list handy, okay, you'll notice that the 915 was an actual repeat number. Not only did it come back, it came back exact. That is amazing. They don't always do that. Pay attention, okay? So these are some nice numbers that you may want to hold on to for a few days. That could be very, very helpful, okay? So let me show you where this happened again. Again, this is why you have to keep chart. And sometimes you'll see them and you haven't seen anything come off of them yet. So pay attention. Notice how they can shift. These were on the right side. Now, look at this particular 835 for March 15th. Okay, this is a midday for Indiana, or day game, you know, whatever they have to say. But 835, you notice the key digits 83 and 38 are on the left side. And I did not highlight that, but that's okay. So again, we're looking at numbers, okay, like that 217. On the bottom of those key digits, 453. And the 83, we have 958. I don't see what's on the top of that 83, so I'm going to use the bottom and write down 712. Okay, and I think I wrote this incorrectly. Let me see here. I wrote 2117. Uh-oh. That's a good pick for a hit. Hold on. Let me make sure I write that correctly. That was 217. Sorry about that. Okay. Happens. Anyways, I would literally just write down those numbers and I would just pay attention. I would just hold on to them for a couple days, right? Okay. Well, on March 17th, the evening 354 hit. Now, it wasn't in perfect order, but it did hit. Okay. Nice. But hold on, got another one for you. Excuse me. March 16th, there was a hit of 324. Okay. All right. Now we saw the key digits 83 and 88. So literally, I'm just going to do the same method. I'm not going to change anything up. 560 right on top, 706 right on the bottom. I would also look at the 88. I would go 065 and 201. I will hold on to those for a couple days. Well, if you did, 650 hit March 18th day game or midday game. Okay, so 560. Again, wasn't in perfect order, but this can definitely help you to figure out where some of the hottest patterns are on your grids. I like when key digits are together because sometimes numbers may form on top or on the bottom. Some states, they work out a little differently. They may do L-shaped patterns. There's quite a few ways to look at this. So I want you to just pay attention to what your state is doing, okay? But again, Indiana, pay attention. Hopefully this helps you guys, and we'll see you on the next video.